people need to lose this perception of wanting friends. Now, am I saying that people shouldn't have any friends whatsoever? No. Because Christ himself had friends, he had followers, he had saints 2,000 years ago. Which most of them, bar a minute percentage, left him within his difficult times when he was being falsely crucified. The point I'm trying to make, people, is that the world is not your friend. I couldn't care less if this video royally offends and provokes negative reactions out of people. If it provokes negative reactions out of people, it clearly means I'm on the right path. The world is not your friend. And for those, the young and naive, to believe that the whole world is your friend, you're not even of God, nor Christ for that matter. You're an enemy of God. You're also an enemy of Christ. So the young and naive, like I said, need to lose this perception of, oh, well, the world's my friend. Really? Well, let's see about that, shall we? When difficult times, challenges, bad things after bad things after bad things happen within your life, once those temporary highs that you get come crashing down above your head, or better yet, or stripped away from you, let's see who's your friend then. And let's see who actually, in fact, saves you from your own downfalls. Because I can assure you now, it's not your so-called friends, like people believe. Only the gospel can do that. God and Christ can do that. This is what people fail to realise. The devil wants people to remain young and naive at all times. Every time. Because it makes him happy. I know exactly what the devil's doing, and his bullshit's not going to work on me. Not even a little bit. He might catch me off guard here and there, like the slick moron he thinks he is. But I know also what God is doing, what Christ is doing. And if I know what they are doing within my life and my circle, that's all that matters. Everything else is bullshit. Smoke and mirrors. No truth. And I can assure you now, a lot of it is distraction. That's all it is. When the vast majority of people want to try and worm their way in, and act as though, them a pal and them a woman and the this and the that, it's like, do I know you? Because I can assure any of you now, I don't know any of you. Bar a small handful, of course. 5, 10, 12, that's about it. So for anyone watching this video, you need to lose this perception of the whole world being your friend. Because that right there is a load of nonsense. It's a load of nonsense. It's a load of baloney. The world is not your friend. That's what the devil, like I said, wants the young and naive of today's generation to believe. Me, like I said, I really don't do friends. I mean, you would genuinely have to be of the gospel, God and Christ for that matter, for me to even consider any form of connection with any of you. Because I don't just build friends after friends after friends after friends after friends after friends like the young and naive do of today's generation, because that's where many Christians end up backsliding. That's also where many Christians end up spiraling out of control and into dysfunction. So much for these so-called friends, right? That's what these so-called friends of today's generation want the young and naive to live like. They want the young and naive to live a degenerate, or better yet, a degenerative life built upon fantasy. See, I've only learned something about human psychology, right? And get this, people are only your friend, right? For as long as they can benefit from you. Regardless to whatever that benefit is, that's however long they choose to be your friend. Now, get this right. Let's say that you don't have whatever it is people are looking for. What do you think happens with these so-called friends out there, people, once they can't actually, in fact, obtain whatever it is they want from you? What do you think happens? Do you think they actually stick with you? Or do you think they monkey branch onto the next person, 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 in order to obtain that fill? That's why people should lose this perception of wanting to make friends upon friends upon friends. Because that right there is nothing more than a fantasy novel, a fantasy life for the young and naive to live. I had to learn the hard way. I still to this day learn the hard way in regards to the world we live in. The world is not your friend. Let me tell each and every one of you that much. The world is not your friend. It can act all excessively happy and joyous within your present. It can put on this show, this front, of wanting to be a friend, or this and that and the other. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit, mate. And this is why, like I said, I'm not as young and naive as the vast majority of people today in believing that the whole world's my friend. Or better yet, anyone that I happen to connect with on the day is my friend all of a sudden. Because that right there is nothing more than fantasy ruling people's heads. And there we have it, folks. So, for the love of God, lose this perception of having as many friends as you possibly have, and the world being your friend, and lose this perception of being young and naive, because really, compared to this OG right here, you're young and naive, that's all you are. You're young and naive, and you're clueless. You really and truly have no clue. You have no clue whatsoever as to the dangers, both spiritually and psychologically, you're getting yourselves into by believing this nonsense of the whole world being your friend and having as many friends as possible. You're clueless. You can enjoy the temporary highs, like I said now, with excessive laughter and joy and all of these things. That's what the devil, like I said, wants the young and naive to believe. Me, like I said, I don't do excess amounts of friends. I don't even do mass gatherings of friends. Because I know the truth. And once you've been through the ringer, and once you've had your ass beat throughout your life, and once you've been royally let down by the vast majority of people, even those that proclaim to be a friend, a loved one, or a family member, As uncomfortable as it was throughout the years, my eyes began to open to the uncomfortable truth with which many today don't even want to acknowledge nor take into consideration. The world is not your friend. People are not a friend. They're not even a loved one, 9 times out of 10. They proclaim to be a loved one. Credit where credit's due. They proclaim to be a loved one. But for how long? That's my question. Well, for as long as they can actually obtain from me, and then monkey branch onto the next fella, or the next woman to obtain that fill. Alright then. Well, I can assure you now, that's not a loved one. That's a user. It's most likely a narcissist living in fantasy land. I know how you fuckers operate, I ain't stupid. But I will, however, keep treating those of you younger naive fools out there as the real stupid ones, until you get it, until your eyes open to the uncomfortable truth, that the world is not your friend. And those loved ones that you think you might have in your life, even question those that proclaim to love you, because I can assure you now, right? 9 times out of 10, they only love you for as long as they can benefit from you. And once they no longer benefit from you, they move on to somebody else and then proclaim to love them and keep the cycle of narcissism and using and abusing going with them instead. Live and learn, people. Live and learn.